right, what's up, guys? Today we have our corner rankings for you. It's going to be a good video. I know we each have some kind of like, I guess not crazy, but crazy takes based off of the general consensus of some of these players. And I know that we are going to disagree with each other a lot on this video.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be great.
It should be good conversation overall. I don't know. I'll let you have some comments about this, but I went into this video thinking that I was going to really like this class. And to be honest, this class was very weak to me. I did not think it was that good. I think there's a ton of really good corner twos in this draft. But outside of that, I mean, there isn't even really an elite corner one for me, to be honest. So we'll talk about it all. But do you have any thoughts on this class as you watched it?
Yeah, totally agree. I was kind of going into this and I know you had kind of talked up this class to me a little bit before I had started getting into it. And I kind of started watching and I was a little disappointed. A lack of length, which we'll get into for most of these guys. And yeah, it was a little disappointing, but there's definitely still some talent here and I see a lot of upside. I think there is some upside for a lot of these guys, but we'll definitely get into all that. But yeah, this is going to be fun. We were just talking before this. We have completely different lists. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So do you want to we're going to do top 10s or top 8s or top 10s? Top 10s, right?
I would say 10, yeah.
Okay, and then do we want to do honorable mentions, or do we not really have anybody?
I mean, I watched a total of 12, so I have 2 guys that are outside my top 10 that I could talk about. If you wanted to do
honorable mentions. Do you want to talk
mentions.
about them, or are they kind of bums?
I mean, my 2 are Malik Muhammad and Keith Abney, so.
Oh, okay. Well, let's save Keith Abney for later, because he's in my top 10. You can talk about Malik Muhammad, though, because he is relevant, and I did not watch him, so.
Yeah, I can talk about him. All right, so Malik Muhammad, he is my 10th corner on my board. I kind of said he was a somewhat strong zone corner, showcases solid length, solidly athletic, decently sticky, with faster and larger receivers. He's still on the younger side, has decent upside for if he's able to be developed. I said that he's pretty one-dimensional, though. He basically only plays outside corner. 70 overall grade. He allowed only 168 yards on 35 targets for 1 touchdown. And overall, he kind of was just average across the board for grades. He had some good games against Oklahoma, Ohio State, and Kentucky, but he also had some bad games against Texas A&M, Vandy, and Georgia. So honestly, I was kind of just I didn't know where to put him. He kind of just he showed flashes of being able to perform, but then he also showcased games where he wasn't that good against good competition. So I kind of just threw him outside the top 10 because I didn't really know where to put him. But I definitely see the vision there. I definitely think he could be developed into maybe a decent corner 2. He has solid upside. He's a little younger. If there's a team that wanted to take him on as a kind of a project player, but overall, definitely not like a start, like a cornerback 1 potential or anything, but just definitely solid.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I will say, I kind of wish I watched him because I did not realize that he actually does have kind of some size and length. No one in this draft has, apparently, and that's something I really value in my corners. So, I'm sure he would actually probably be in my top 10 if I watched him. So maybe he's someone we talk about later or after the draft or something. I don't know. I'm sure I'll get to him. That's interesting that he was, your 11th player, you said?
He's number 11 for me. He was kind of borderline top 10. I flirted with the top 10. But, yeah, the thing that turned me off for him a little bit was he's just kind of mid across the board for grades. And he was just very inconsistent. He's not very heavy, so he kind of can get pushed around. And he gave up a touchdown, 68 yards, so not bad. But yeah, he had a 14% missed tackle rate, so it was just kind of average across the board. So I just kind of threw him off to the top 10. Definitely think he could move up after the draft, depending on what team takes him. If he's in a good scheme, but yeah.
Okay. So I don't really have anybody. There is someone outside my top 10, but I bet he's in your top 10, so we'll probably just talk about him later. Outside of that, none of the other guys I watch, I don't really think are worth talking about. Maybe at best 4th round guys. Do you want to just go 10 to 5?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so I'll start. So my 10 is Keontae Scott from Miami. My 9 is Chris Johnson from San Diego State. My 8 is Colton Hood from Tennessee. My 7 is Julian Neal from Arkansas. My 6 is Jermon McCoy from Tennessee. And my 5 is Brandon Cisse from South Carolina.
Okay.
So let's hear yours now.
So my number 10 is Devon Marshall from NC State. My 9 is Davison Igbinosun from Ohio State. My 8 is Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. My 7 is Avian Terrell from Clemson. And my 6 is Brandon Cisse from South Carolina. Oh, did we go to a 5?
Yeah.
My 5 is Keontae Scott from Miami.
Okay, so I did not watch. I probably should have watched Igbinosun. Who was your Devon Marshall? I didn't watch either, but I really wanted to. So I don't want to make you talk about 3 guys back to back. Is there anybody in that middle? Do we have somebody that was kind of in that same range?
That's the thing. We have pretty different. Brandon Cisse was your 5. He was my 6.
Okay.
Jermod McCoy. We could talk about him and get him out of the way if you wanted.
We could start with McCoy.
Because he's your 6. He's my 8.
Scott is my 10, and he was your 5, correct?
We could talk about him as well.
Why don't we talk about like McCoy, and then you talk about Igbinosun, and then we can talk about Scott, and then you can talk about
Devon Marshall.
The other guy. Yeah, Devon Marshall.
Yeah, that works.
So do you want to talk about McCoy first? Because that's a shock to 90% of people that are.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation.
So it was funny because I expected a lot from McCoy. You know, a lot of the guys that I follow are he's corner 1 for them, even with the injury, and I was like, whoa, damn. After that injury, he must be like elite. Like his 2024 tape must be stellar. What's funny is that I thought I was gonna be lower on him than you. I thought I was gonna be like the lowest person on Jermod McCoy like ever in the whole world, to be honest. And then you one up me and were like, nah, he's worse. So I'm actually glad you agree with me, because it's kind of like the Carnell Tate thing. I'm like, am I going insane? How am I the only one that sees this player this way? But since you're gonna talk about these 2 guys that I didn't watch, I'll talk mainly about like what's important with McCoy. So like overall, he is a solid player. Like I would still have him as like a 2nd-round talent. He's a great athlete with a 9.67 RAS, like 6'1", 188 pounds. He doesn't really have like, his hands aren't that big, his arms aren't that big. 4.37 40 is good. 38-inch vertical is good. 10.7 broad solid. He's super, super young. Like that is something that if you do really like him and you're willing to like work with him, that's a great factor, because like you like sit him for like 2 years in a sense, or like let him recover from his injury. I know it won't be that long, but like he's still only 22. But in terms of like on-field ability, I mean, he does have good ball skills, 4 interceptions and 6 PBUs in 2024. That's pretty good. I thought he had really good timing, and like his abilities to bake quarterbacks in zone seemed really, really good to me. I thought he was super fluid. I thought his press technique was pretty damn good. I thought he fought like at the catch point really, really well with his hands. Like they're always active. He's always like tracking the ball really well. And honestly, like if he didn't get injured, he would probably be like a late 1st-round cornerback for me. But, there are definitely some negatives when it comes with his profile. That's why he's so low for me. The ACL injury is horrible. Like, biggest knock off him for sure. Horrible. That's the kiss of death for corners. I mean, like, for real. Like, Savon Revel, look, like, he was a top 15 player for me, and he went in the 3rd round because of his corner, or because of his ACL, and he looked terrible on the Cowboys last year. Like, straight terrible. And this is 2 years removed from an ACL. I know Will Johnson was an ACL, but like look how he fell with that. And I still like Johnson, but I think of like Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs was like an all-pro corner, or like a Pro Bowl corner. And then he tore his ACL, and man, he went from like top to like, is he even on the Packers anymore?
No, he's a free agent.
Dallas straight up cut him. Like he might not even be in the NFL next year. So it is really the kiss of death injury for corners. I also thought the fact that 2024 was literally his only good year, like ever. Like I like my corners experience, to be honest. And, his Oregon State tape was kind of weak. I didn't think it was that special. And then, this injury, you're supposed to be back. Like Tennessee was hopeful to have him back by the end of their season. And not only that, but he didn't go to like any Senior Bowl or Combine. He took like almost half a year extra to recover from this, which makes me think it was really bad. And yes, he had a good pro day, but like, is he going to be physical on the field? Is he going to be able to play tight man coverage? Like, or can he just run straight, I also thought that in 2024, the supposed really good season, I thought he had bad games against Georgia and Ohio State. Like, he got cooked against Ohio State. And I get that's Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith cooked him. Like, he let up literally every single target that was thrown at him. Georgia, good team, probably the 2nd best team he faced that year, also did good against him. And I know the Oregon State tape was weak, but when they faced Oregon, he kind of got whooped by Oregon too. So the top 3 teams he faced in his career have all had great days on him. He also had 8 penalties in 2024.
Yep.
That's not great. Don't like to see that. I thought his run defense at its best, was just average, nothing elite. And then for him being like an apparent top 15 corner, he lacks elite length and size, and I don't like either of those things. So, all these things combined just create like a whirlwind of traits that I hate in my corners. And if this ACL injury makes him lose even a step or an ounce of twitch, then he's just so much worse anyways that it's like, I'm not taking him in the first round. I'm just not. It's too risky, to be honest.
Yes.
So, I know that was a very long like breakdown of him, but I feel like it's necessary because he's such a hyped up prospect, and I just don't see him that way at all. But is there anything that you saw that I missed that you don't like? Because you don't even like I like him more than you do, so I want to hear what you have to say too.
You hit most of the things that I was going to say. He just, like, I watched him and I was kind of really I was really disappointed with what I saw. I was coming in expecting like absolute shutdown play.
Yeah.
Like a really, really good, like, because this dude is literally projected top 20 coming off an ACL tear. I'm like, this dude has to be incredible, like you said. And I kind of go to his tape, and he allowed almost 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, I'm sorry, like, yeah, that's not horrible, but like for hyping up a top 20 player who in his best season of his career allowed 400 yards and 2 touchdowns, it didn't seem right to me. He, like you said, he had 8 penalties. He had bad games against Ohio State, Georgia, Kentucky even. Kentucky wasn't even that good. He did not always play to the whistle, which I don't like. There's talk that his knee might be degenerative, which is a whole nother thing. Like, if he has a degenerative knee, that is even worse. Not only he has an ACL problem, he has a degenerative knee, which might like that's what Todd Gurley had. That's what all these good players who left the NFL early, they all had good starts to their careers, but then they fizzled out. Now McCoy, if all this injury stuff doesn't matter, or if he's fine, he has high upside. I think that there's a lot to look for here. He's 6'1". He doesn't have great length, but he has good athleticism. If all that is maintained, he probably has higher upside than the 3 or 4 guys above him for me. But all these things, like bad against good competition, coming off an ACL, possible degenerative knee, doesn't always play to the whistle. His season wasn't even that good, let alone it was his only good season. I don't know. All these things combined for me were just like all these other corners above him just seemed like safer, more NFL ready picks. So that's kind of where I dropped him a lot. I love Jermon McCoy. Like, I like him as a player. Like, I think that I want him to succeed, obviously, but it's just I saw too many red flags and too many possible problems with him as a player, and I just there's 7 other guys I would rather have off this board than him.
Yeah, so that's how I saw it. And obviously, this guy's mocked to go to the Vikings a ton, and this would be my least favorite pick for the Vikings, like as it stands right now. But I don't lie to myself, and when it comes to the Vikings, I am oh, I want them to draft players I think are good, obviously. I would be disappointed if they drafted Jermon McCoy, because if he busts for us, and there's a high likelihood that he does, or he's just not as good as he seems, our defense is very, 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 very barren of talent. So I would rather have a safer guy, man. And a lot of these teams that are taking corner in his projected range would need him to be good. So I don't know if he falls. Hard to say. I know the NFL, they definitely think, the draft community thinks really highly of this guy. They thought really highly of Will Johnson, though. Will Johnson had a less bad injury. So it's hard to say where he will go, but man, I don't know. I will say the brightest thing about his profile for me is he's so young. He is one of the youngest players in this draft. He's 20 and a half years old.
And that's what kind of made me pause when I was ranking him. I'm like, well, he still has time. If this isn't a degenerative knee, he could possibly really get back rehabbed and back to where he was. But the degenerative knee news, really, really was not good.
On top of the ACL, yeah.
Yeah, if he has a degenerative knee, that might be the kiss of death for his career. That's really bad. But yeah, we just kind of ranted about Jermon McCoy, but we're definitely lower than him than the consensus. Yeah.
Well, it's important, man. He's my corner 7 and yours 8, and he's most people's corner 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we need to explain ourselves. We don't just say these things for clicks. We both had good reasons for why we have this player here. So yeah. Do you want to talk about one of Devin Marshall or Igbenogson?
I'll do Devin Marshall next because he's my 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see.
I'll add in what I can because I've heard a decent amount about him.
Yeah, so Devin Marshall, I kind of actually sought him out when I was scrolling down PFF's board because I had heard really good things. And as a Packers fan, we need corners really bad. So I was kind of just
True.
looking for whatever I could find. And I feel like I kind of struck not gold, but like I struck a solid prospect with Marshall. He's one of the biggest ball hawks in all of FBS. He has high versatility, great fundamentals, and excellent play recognition and awareness. He's a sure tackler and hard hitter as well. He's not the most athletic prospect, but he showcases excellent in-game IQ and ball skills. He was second in FBS with 17 passes defended this last year. And he did that against really solid competition in the ACC. Obviously, the ACC is not the best football conference, but he played good against Virginia, Notre Dame, Miami, FSU, UNC, Memphis. Like he posted 70 plus. He posted 70 plus grades against all those. He posted a 75 grade against Miami. He posted an 82.5 grade against Memphis. Like he played pretty well against good competition. Out of 62 targets, he only allowed 27 of them. He did allow 308 yards and 2 touchdowns and a 56 passer rating, but I'd say out of 62 targets, that's pretty solid. He had 50 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 15 PBUs, and a forced fumble in 13 games. He is 5'11", 200 pounds, so he has solid size, and he had a 90.5 zone grade. So overall, I kind of just watched him, and I didn't see obviously a corner one or anything like that. I kind of just saw solid upside. He's only 21 years old, time for development. So I kind of just saw him as another, kind of like Malik Muhammad, a project player. I think if a team gets their hands on him and can develop him correctly and continue to improve his coverage skills, I think he could be a solid corner too. But yeah, that's kind of all I have for him. Just kind of a quick thing. And he is my 10.
I'll definitely watch him. I don't know if we'll have time or what we'll do. Whatever. But if we do an updated big board or players that rose up that we didn't, cover in our videos, maybe he'll be that one for me because, he seems pretty solid. So, you want to talk about,
no, I was just gonna say the biggest thing for him is his downside is his athleticism for sure. On his pro day, he ran a 4.45, which is okay. He had 12 reps of bench, which is not great, 10-3 broad, which is okay, and he only had a 32.5-inch vert. So, all these athletic things were not amazing, which is why he kind of gets knocked, I think. But we'll see. I think he's actually pretty solid, and I think his on-field speed is a little bit better, but that's just me, so.
Okay, great. Do you want to talk about next? Keontae Scott? He's your 5. He's my 10.
Yeah, we can do Keontae Scott, yeah.
Okay, so even though you're higher on him, you're about to talk about Igmanosin, so I'll start with him if you're fine with that.
Yeah, go for it.
And obviously I'm gonna give more of a negative outlay, so maybe you can argue some of my points a little bit. Scott, I just thought was, his profile is pretty simple to me. He's, really high graded out. Had some pretty solid games in his career, the A&M game against. Or the college football playoff game against A&M this year was pretty decent, 6 tackles, a forced fumble. He did allow 7 receptions out of 8 targets, but only for 35 yards. He had 2 sacks. He's weird as a prospect because what he's good at, you don't typically ask your corners to do. Miami played him as a very specialized player that he's a corner that prioritizes blitzing, pressuring quarterbacks, and playing against the run. This dude had, let me find this, 5 sacks this year.
Yep. 5 sacks, yep. 20 pressures.
That's pretty ridiculous for a corner, I guess you could say. And especially not undersized, but I had him at 5'11", 193 with not bad length. The thing for me is he projects to the next level as a slot corner. I don't think he's big enough to play the role he did at Miami because really no one does. No one really asks corners to just full-time do what he did at the next level. I mean, kind of, but they're more of hybrid safety linebackers. So I don't think he's big enough for that or strong enough for that. And then also if you play him in the slot full-time, my thing is just how much do you value a nearly 25-year-old slot corner? Because slot corners already aren't that prioritized. They don't get drafted super high. They don't get paid really high. I mean, I think Kenny Moore is one of the best slot corners in the league. And I mean, I think he gets paid $12 million a year, something like that, maybe 15. It's not that much. and he's already 25. So by the end of his rookie contract, he's like 29 years old. Like, I don't know. Even if he had good age, I would probably off of skill draft him in like the 3rd round. And then it's the fact that he's 25 that it was just like, I don't know. Like, I get why people like this player. He's super feisty. He has a really competitive, tough attitude, and he plays like a damn, like, he punches up like 2 classes above his weight. So, like, I get it. But, like, what he does is just, like, he's a good college player, man. I don't really see his skill set translating that well. I mean, maybe it does, but, like, I just don't think there's a ton of schemes that would adapt to him, that he would adapt to. And it's just, I mean, like, he's so old. You have to be a damn good player to be this old and for me to be, like, still like you. Like, Akeem is, like, the only player I can really think of where I'm like, he's old, but, I mean, he has virtually everything you'd want in an edge player. And he's at a way more valuable position. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously you like him, so I'm interested to see what you think about him. But
yeah, definitely the biggest downside for him is that he's old, and I definitely realize that he is a type of guy that like a win now team would grab if they need like a versatile slot or like someone that is going to make an instant impact, because I think that's what he can do. I think that if you scheme for him correctly on defense, you will get production out of him. 91.2 run defense grade. He's great at filling the gap, great at recognizing the run, and he's also really solid in coverage. He does not give up touchdowns. He had an 80 overall grade in the zone, 77 in man, 87 overall coverage grade. He's just really solid all over the defense. He had 2 forced fumbles, 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 4 PBUs, almost 60 tackles. He kind of just he did everything for the Miami defense, and I feel like if there is a correct scheme for him in the NFL, I think he will succeed as well. He's also solidly athletic, 4.33 at his pro day. He has 31.5-inch arms, which is pretty average, slightly above average hand size. I think the biggest knock for him for me was his missed tackling. He is sometimes struggles with tackling.
15 missed.
That's not great, but what I really liked is his versatility. I think that he can kind of play anywhere, and I know you don't really think so just because of his size. But like you said, I think he punches outside of his weight class a lot of the time, and he's very feisty. He played 62 snaps in D-line, 196 in the box, and 489 in the slot. And I feel like he definitely has the speed to be able to play slot. He's solidly sized, 5'11", 191 is what he weighed in at his pro day. And the biggest thing for me is he played good against good competition. He played well against Ohio State. He played good against Texas A&M. He played good against Notre Dame. He played good against SMU. Like, all these teams were really solid, if not really good this year. And he put up good showings. And how much you want to attribute that to the Miami defense as a whole is up to you. I think, honestly, watching his tape, that he made a big impact in a lot of those games.
He definitely did.
And I think he can make an impact in the NFL as well. It's just whether or not he will get the right scheme fit for him. Because, like you said, if he's kind of like, if you don't play him how he played in college, like, is he really going to succeed? But I think overall, just from his college season, he's my 5th prospect just because I saw that kind of ability from him, and I saw the what am I looking for? Like I saw that kind of, I guess, ability for him to be able to make plays. And I think for a win now team, he could definitely make an impact right away. So that's kind of why he's higher on my list, but definitely has a pretty low floor, which is an issue. But I also see him as a high ceiling player as well. So
yeah, I mean, I just think his role, it sucks with him, like I said. Like, the problem for him to play the slot is it's like he can do that, and he's great at that, but, like, how high do you value that when he's 25 years old?
Right.
You know, just straight up. And, you know, I would love if he had, like, the chops to play outside corner. I just don't think he does. Like, he has virtually, I mean, like, he played at Auburn before, I believe. Maybe he has a ton of experience there, but, like, this year, I mean, he did not have any notable snaps at outside corner. And then he also just lacks, like, the length for that. Like, yes, he has the athleticism to play outside corner, but, like, you can't just play outside corner, like, willy-nilly. Like, you have to be damn good at it. So...
unless you're Bo Melton.
Yeah, right. Remind me how good the Packers corner room is again. Elite, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a fun player, like I said. Really, really good college player. For how close the Notre Dame game was, the Ohio State game was, the Ole Miss game was, like, for him to have as good games as he had, and not be a liability as a corner. Like, props to him. I do value that, but like he just is like lacking a little bit too much for me in not that important of a position, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see. But you want to talk about Igbinosun now?
Yeah, I can talk about him.
Sounds good.
All right, Davison Igbinosun. So Davison Igbinosun is an interesting player because I feel like he's one of the first corners that I actually looked at who was like a true man corner. He's like more of a physical, hard hitting, like sticky corner who does a lot of hand fighting and is really physical. Like I said, he like the main thing he does is like try not to give up any space to the receiver at any cost. He has good play recognition and reaction time, good strength. He has surprisingly good length. He has 33-inch arms.
I was gonna say I just saw that. I might love this guy when I watch him.
I like him. His biggest issue is his physicality causes him to commit a lot of penalties. He has
how many did he have exactly?
30 penalties in his career. He only had 6 this year, but he had 16, I think, last year.
It was bad 2 years
which
ago.
is really bad. Along with that, he's not super athletic. He only ran a 4.45, 34-inch vert, 10 broad. So he had an 8.64 RAS. So not like anything crazy. He is 22 years old, so he's kind of reaching that point where he isn't going to be really developed anymore. He allowed 22 receptions for 207 yards and no touchdowns, 42.6 passer rating, which is good, 81.6 overall grade, which he increased from a 65.9 last year in 2024, I guess. And he plays almost all of his snaps at wide corner. So he's definitely a true outside corner prospect. And the thing I liked about him most was he had good games against Miami, Indiana, and Illinois last year. All really good teams. And he played solid. I think he had at least a 65+ grade in all those games, and those are really good teams. But yeah, he's kind of interesting for me because he's not like super athletic or fluid on the field, and he's a little undersized. But he's a really solid man corner when he does not commit penalties. And he's like one of the only like true man corners that I looked at. So yeah, I had him at 9. I don't know how much you know about him. You haven't watched him, but yeah, I just thought he was pretty solid in general.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I kind of wish I did watch him because he's ranked high enough that I feel like I should have. And then he is probably one of 2 to 3 corners in the top 100 to 150 players in this draft that have good size and good length, which I value a ton.
Yeah, that's really important.
He also played in really, really big games and had really, really good grades and just outcomes in those games. Love that a ton. Really experienced player at a really, really good program. The penalties aren't great. Like that is bad, but like, I mean, it looks like everything I've seen off of just all like the traits and everything, like the speed isn't amazing, but it's competent. Like that's fine.
It's okay.
Like he seems like he could be a really solid like corner too. Like maybe take a chance on him in the second round type thing.
That's kind of what I saw. I think he could turn into a high end corner too. Is kind of what I thought. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I've seen a lot of mocks have the Packers take him in round 2, and I don't know if that's a little too early. But we'll see. I think that he's a really solid corner.
Yeah. So we talked about my 10, which was Scott. Is Chris Johnson in your top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, is Colton Hood in your top 10?
Yes.
Okay. Is Julian Neal in your top 10?
I did not watch him.
Okay. I will talk about Julian Neal then, because he is my 8th corner. No, wait.
You have him at 7.
Yeah. Okay. So McCoy was my 6th corner. Okay. Yeah. I thought McCoy was my 7th corner. So Julian Neal's my 7th corner. This was one of the first guys I watched because for some reason when I started out the year, I just went down teams alphabetically, and Arkansas is one of the first teams. So yeah, he has something that I value a ton, which nobody in this draft has, which is great size and pretty. I mean, I'm looking up his exact measurements because for some reason it isn't on here. He has good arms though, 32 3/4 inch arms. 33-inch arms. He's 6'2", 203. I thought he was a great run defender and tackler. I mean, he has pretty damn solid experience. He had like 650 snaps at Fresno State in his 2 years there, and then he transferred to Arkansas and had 770 snaps here. So, I mean, like, he's around 1,500 snap player. Actually, no, that math's way off. It's like 1,300 snaps. I thought he, on tape, like, looked really good. He's a really damn good athlete. His broad jump, an 11.2 broad jump.
Yeah, did he have a really good RAS? I'm trying to remember what his RAS is.
9.48 because he's a little bigger. Like 16 bench reps. He has the strength. That broad is insane.
Mhm.
40-inch vertical, and
That's
he
nice.
didn't run the fastest. He had a 4.4940, but honestly, that's competent. It's fine. He's not really winning with speed. He's winning off strength, size, and he's blanketing these guys. And I thought, honestly, like for that speed, I thought he was super sticky. Like I thought he mirrored routes really, really well. I thought he stayed on guys really, really well, which was impressive to me because I'm like, damn, he's big. Honestly, probably the biggest corner on my list. I mean, Devin Moore might be a little bigger. I think he's like an inch taller, but in terms of length, he might be. His zone coverage I thought was pretty damn good. I can pull up his grades really quick to be like more accurate about that. He had a 78.2 zone coverage grade, 66.3 man coverage grade, so like pretty decent. But I thought his zone was like what stood out to me the most. Despite the fact that he has the build to be a good man corner. So he was a really smart player, processed routes really quickly. I think that's plays into his ability to be really sticky. I thought his ball skills were pretty damn good. Like this year, he had 2 interceptions, 8 PBUs, and then in his 650 snaps at Fresno State, 2 interceptions, 5 PBUs. That's pretty damn good. Like he's always making plays on the ball. Yeah, and then just the traits, man. Like that's hard to beat in a draft class where every guy feels like he's 5'11", 5'10", 6 foot. To get a 6'2", 205-pound corner with 33-inch arms is like really refreshing. And then he's a freak athlete too. Like, man, you love to see it because it felt like no one in this draft was a freak athlete with good size. And I would be lying if I said he isn't higher on my list simply because of the intangibles. But I also thought that he was a good player too. Like, honestly, I think he would be a great Packer in the second round. Like, I hope he doesn't go there. I would want him. I'm not really sure if he would fit into the Vikings scheme, so it's hard for me to say that I would want him as a Vikings player. Like, maybe he would, maybe he would, but I think he'd be a really solid Packer, man. I think he's going to be a really good corner, too, like, honestly. I'm not sure if he'll ever be a corner one simply because of the speed, and just some of the stuff on his tape is, like, fine. Like, for being an outside corner, I thought his cross technique could use a little bit of work, so he'll probably never be, like, your true lockdown outside corner. Because his man isn't amazing as well. But, man, as somebody who's going to line up as, like, your second corner or maybe even kind of like a rotational corner, like, I think this is, like, as good as it would get for that position. Like, and then I feel like he's going to get drafted higher than his consensus projection because in this draft, someone's going to fall in love with his size and length. I know I'm not the only person who watches these guys that likes that. There's definitely teams in the NFL that value that a ton. So, Julian Neal, man, if he's called on day 2, like second round or early third round, I would not be surprised, and I think he's very deserving so of that position. So
it's really interesting to hear you talk about him because I didn't get to watch him, but I did want to eventually watch him. I've heard a lot of Packers fans and like podcasters mock him to the Packers. He is our prototypical type of corner that we would take because we like bigger corners.
Yeah.
So like you saying like people might fall in love, like we are the exact type of team to fall in love with him. But no, it's interesting. That's good information. I do want to watch him eventually because I definitely heard a lot about him, a lot of good things. Yeah.
Yeah. So McCoy and then Cisse. Do you want to talk about Cisse? Because I have him. He is 5 for me, I believe. Yep. What is he for you?
6.
We're similar. Okay. So do you want to talk about Cisse first? Do you want me to talk about Cisse first?
You just did a lot of talking, so I can talk about him. Yeah, Brandon Cisse. Brandon Cisse is a very interesting prospect for me because he is like almost a like complete run defender. Almost like he had like an 89.2 run defense grade in 2025. Excellent at filling the gap and pursuit. He is a tough hitter and a solid tackler. This year he struggled a bit more with tackling, but the year before he was really good at tackling. Low miss rate. Like I said, he has great recognition. Excellent in pursuit. He's solid in coverage as well, and he definitely shows flashes of being able to be good in coverage. I think he's definitely more developmental. I actually noticed that a lot with a lot of these guys. They're younger and they need a little bit of development, but I think with development, Cisse could definitely be a good coverage guy. He recorded an interception in PBUs and like 11 stops, which PFF like considers like completely halting the offense or resulting in a negative play. So I thought that was interesting. He only played 12 games, so he averaged like at least one of those stops a game. He ran a 4.440. He had a 41-inch vertical, 10.11 broad, so really athletic. He's a little undersized, 189 pounds, smaller arms, smaller hands, which is not great. But overall, he played pretty well against Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Oklahoma. He didn't play well against Texas A&M, LSU, so he showed a little bit of inconsistency there. But I I like him as a developmental guy. I think if you can develop his coverage skills a little bit more and you can continue to feed him into the run defense game, I think he would be a really solid corner. If he improves back to where he was with tackling, because he went from a 3.4% miss rate to a 14.3% in 1 year, which, yeah, he kind of fell a little bit. But yeah, overall, developmental guy. I think he shows a lot of upside for a mid-second, early third rounder. Just kind of being undersized was his main issue and his inconsistency.
Yeah. It's funny when I watched him. Sorry, I'm just trying to record a stat real quick. Yeah, we kind of view him the same way. I think he's, funnily enough, very much more of a developmental player than a ready player. I would not take him in the first round simply because if you're taking a corner in the first round, that you need a player to play right now. But he's not even 21 yet, so even if it takes a year to develop him, that's fine. But he definitely does have the athleticism for it. I mean,
for sure.
41-inch vert, 10-11 broad, like elite jumping, I guess, testing. And then didn't love the size, 6 foot, really small hands, almost 31-inch arms. Like, it's whatever. But it's the fact that he's so young and he's such a good athlete, and then also a really, really good run defender. And I thought what popped for me was his high IQ and processing abilities looked really, really good, really, really solid, and that definitely helps when he's defending the run. But yeah, he's just like these South Carolina guys, very, very physical.
Very athletic.
He's very athletic. And I think he's so young that he just has enough of a ceiling to tap into to be a very, very solid corner. And this is the funny thing, he's my 5th corner, and I don't think he could be a corner 1, even a low tier 1, but I think he could be a really high corner 2. So, I'm not really sure how much you value that, considering that I think you have to develop him a little too, especially since his man definitely needs some work. His man coverage was not great. I'm trying to think. And yeah, I thought he did not have great games against NFL wide receivers. The biggest one for me was Casey Concepcion kind of torched him really badly, and that's not great. I mean, I give that Concepcion's my 2nd wide receiver, so I think very, very highly of Concepcion. But if you're drafting this guy in the 1st round, which is sometimes where he's mocked, it just kind of exposed his man ability a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But I do think his ceiling is good enough, and the way he plays is rough enough. He has a feisty mentality that I just liked him. I think he's a good player. And I just believe in his ceiling a little bit more, kind of due to some of his testing and the fact that he is so young. I mean, honestly, he's McCoy's age, and I just thought he showed a little more promise, and he's not super badly injured. So, yeah, I thought Cisse was pretty decent overall with a high ceiling to tap into.
Agreed. Yeah, and that's probably the one time we're going to agree, other than on Delane.
Right. So with that being said, do you want? Wait, never mind. Do you want to do top 5s now?
Yeah, we can do top 5s.
Okay. So my 5 was Keith Abney from Arizona State. My 4 was Devin Moore from Florida. My 3, wait, did I do this wrong?
I think we did 10 through 5, which was 6 total, but it's fine. We just do Keith Abney was your 4.
Yeah. So Keith Abney was my 4. Sorry. Devin Moore was my 3rd. Avion Terrell is my 2nd out of Clemson. And then my 1st was Mansour Delane from LSU. So let's hear yours. That's a good point. I always forget that that's how that works.
No, it's not really that big of a deal, honestly. For me, my 4 was Colton Hood from Tennessee. My 3 was Chris Johnson from San Diego State. My 2 was D'Angelo Pons from Indiana.
Wow.
My 1 was Mansour Delane from LSU. Wow. So we are going to have some fun.
2 things that initially stick out to me is that you had 2 guys that you didn't watch at your 8 and 9. 2 guys in my top 5 you didn't watch because you didn't watch Abney, did you? Or did you? And he was 11.
I watched Abney. He was my 12.
Okay, so you didn't like Abney. I didn't like Pons. And you didn't watch Devin Moore. Oh man, where do we even start? How about I talk about Moore?
Okay.
And then we talk about Abney, or we talk about Pons because you're the high guy on Pons, and then I'll talk about Abney again because
or do we want to do Colton Hood? Do we want to do Colton Hood because you have him as your 8? You do Devin Moore right now, and then we talk about Hood maybe.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find Moore's. Here we go. Well, why do I have the Florida guys separate? I'm just trying to find Florida. I should have did this better. I forgot. I had to split up my notebooks because of how much guys I watched. So
yeah, I've been splitting up my notebook too.
base. Let's see. Then maybe at the very front. Oh, yeah, here's a photo, guys. Tyreek Sapp, Caleb Banks. So he's at the end. George Combs Jr. Bro, there we go, Devin Moore. So, Devin Moore. I really like him, and I was just talking with you about this before the video, but it's funny because I thought Devin Moore was a top 50 player when PFF and pretty much the consensus on him was that he was like 250th ranked. Like, no one liked this guy, and so I'm going to stand on it. I like this guy before literally anybody else did, and now he's like a top 100 player in this draft consensusly. And he's kind of in the range of Julian Neal because he just has the size, man, and like no one else does. So I'll be honest, like there's some things about him that aren't great, but he is like, I think the tallest corner in this draft, and that is something I value so much. Like DJ Pickett, the freshman corner from LSU that's like 6'5", I'm probably going to love when he declares. It's just something to me, like when I played football, I played corner, and I was very ass at it, but something that I understood about that is literally every single inch of extra arm length and height you have, it's like when you're guarding somebody, it's like you're throwing a net over them. Every single inch you add is so much bigger of a net that you're putting over that person. And it can be, I mean, as a corner, you can play 99.9% of your technique, right, and still get absolutely cooked. You need every single benefit or every single thing going your way, like to your advantage. And having like a few extra inches might not seem like it, but it can be the difference between you getting the tip of your finger on a ball and deflecting it and having it be a PBU or having it break up and having your teammate intercept it, you know, or maybe just covering the corner or the wide receiver's eyes a little bit more. So him being 6'3" with 31.5-inch arms, I know his arms are the super line, but they're average enough where it's like when he's 6'3", that's good length to me. I really value that. He does have a slower 40, 4.5 40. It's not terrible. It's 48th percentile, but like out as an outside corner, it's not awesome. I think his length does make up for it though. I thought he had really good jam and press technique though. That paired with the length, it's like, oh my God, I love that. I love that for my outside corners. I love when they jam well. I love when they have good press technique. And the fact that he is like throwing that net over these guys, he is covering them so much. He's also very sticky in coverage. Like all these things, it's like this guy is like your prototypical man corner. Like I love this guy. He's also really good in zone. He had great battles against SEC competition. Like he had a good game against LSU. He had a really good game against Texas. He had a really good game against Kentucky. Really good game against Mississippi State. Really good game against USF. Really good game against Texas A&M. Really good game against Tennessee. Like pretty damn solid game against Ole Miss and really good game against Miami. Those are all like the top teams, man. Like Miami, A&M, LSU, Texas. I mean Tennessee. Those are all like he had shutdown games. Like when the offense is throwing his way, that's like a liability for them. They should not be throwing his way. He's a super physical tackler who brings it in the run game as well. Like he had a 81.5 run defense grade. It's like awesome because his size is also there. And for 29 tackles, he only had 4 missed. Not bad. Out of the 29 targets he had, he only allowed 16 receptions. He did allow 2 touchdowns, but like 2 interceptions, TVUs, 0 penalties. That's another thing. For him being an outside press man corner, he had 0 penalties. I love to see that.
That's really good.
And, you know, he didn't even have a flag in the past 2 seasons either. Like, he really never gets penalized. It's awesome. And I just thought he was a super high IQ, like elite processor, elite awareness player. That's probably why he doesn't get that many penalties. The biggest things with him is his speed isn't amazing. He did have a season-ending shoulder injury in 2022 and another shoulder surgery in 2024. It's not great, but it's 2 years removed from the most recent one and 4 years removed from like the initial injury that I'm pretty fine with it. Still something to note, but I mean, corners also aren't like tackling a ton, so I hope he'll be fine. And then the biggest thing for Moore is he's just very inexperienced. Like this year was the biggest year he started, and he only had 550 snaps. And in 2024 was, I believe, the second most time like he saw on the field, and he still only had 278 snaps. So I mean, like he's a less than 1,000 snap guy, but he's only 22 and a half years old, and he was at Florida, I believe, for all those 4 years, like still getting reps in practice, still learning from like that's a good school, man. So I believe in this guy. I love him. He's probably like my biggest draft darling, honestly. And I just think he does so much well. Like I think he can be a corner 1. I don't know how good he can be because of his speed. It's kind of limiting. But like if this guy was your corner 1, like I don't think you would be like that mad about it. You'd be like, it's fine. Or he plays in absolute elite corner 2 role. So I think like whoever drafts this guy, I bet he'll go in the 3rd round. Whoever drafts this guy is getting a stud, like, honestly. This is kind of my Savon Ravel from last year. Savon Ravel was a top 15 player for me. Obviously, I'm not this high on him. But, I just really, really like this guy. And I hope you get to watch him because I think you'll see a lot of what I see. Yeah, he just brings so much to the table that not a lot of corners in this draft can ever learn. They'll never be able to learn this size. So, man, yeah, I just really, really like Devin Moore from Florida. And it seems like trending. He's trending upward. Everyone's catching up on him. I mean, he's jumped up 150 spots in a month. So, by draft day, maybe he's close to 50 even. Who knows? But no, I really liked him for months. So if he does go high, I will be bragging about that literally all the time. But kind of a yap session, but he's one of my favorite players in the draft. So I really, really like Devin Moore, man.
No, yeah, that's good. And just like for Julian Neal, I haven't watched him, but I've heard a lot of good things. I had heard that his main reason for being lower was his injuries. So it's interesting to hear how he played this last season. And
really
I
solid,
think
83.8 grade.
Yeah, like you said with Julian Neal, teams are going to fall in love with his size, and if they think that he's healthy and he passes all the medicals, he might go in the 2nd round. He might jump up to high 2nd round even.
Maybe.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I do need to watch him as well. He's another guy that I wanted to watch, just didn't have time. He probably would have been in my top 10, but I guess I don't know. But yeah, I had heard that he has great size, great man corner. But yeah, again, it's really interesting just to hear about more. But yeah, I don't know who you want to go to next. Do we want to
talk about Pons? That's what we have fun conversation because he's your corner 2.
Yeah, he's my corner 2. Yep.
Yeah, he is my corner 11. And if you remember, I said my corner 10 would be a 4th round, 5th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Pons that much. Obviously you, so why don't you start? Go crazy, man. You clearly love him.
Oh yeah, I will go crazy. This is gonna be fun. I'm just gonna read kind of what I wrote about him. Pons would easily, and I mean easily, be the best corner prospect in this draft if he was not 5'9". Amazing in zone and coverage in general. Pons is physical, has great fundamentals, and excellent play recognition. He has amazing recovery quickness, closing speed, and just speed in general, which he kind of has to because he's smaller. He is also crazy athletic, which he has to be to make up for his size. He's surprisingly strong and also surprisingly doesn't draw many penalties for how physical he is at the point of attack. My only downside for Pons was that he is small and lacks length, and that he tends to tackle high. So I'm just going to go over some of his stats. He had 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions, 9 PBUs this last season. He is 5'9", 182 pounds, so on the smaller side, all arms. He ran a 4.3 140 at his pro day, 43.5-inch vertical. He is 21.2 years old. And here are some of his grades. He had an 89.9 overall grade in 2025, 89.5 coverage grade. He allowed 379 yards and no touchdowns, a 55.4 passer rating. He had an 84.6 zone grade, 86 run defense grade, 85.3 tackle grade. He only had 3% missed tackle rate, and that's at being 5'9", 182 pounds. He had good games against Miami, Oregon twice, and Penn State. He had an 85 grade against Miami in the national championship. He had a 79.9 and a 73.8 grade against Oregon both times, and he had a 73.2 grade against Penn State. Since 2023, he's had 7 interceptions and 26 PBUs. And another thing that you kind of talked to me about, and I kind of agree, is when a guy comes out of high school and is good, that's a good sign for the NFL. Right out of high school, he went to James Madison and dominated. He dominated at James Madison, transferred to Indiana, and continued to dominate. Now, I know exactly your biggest. I already know what your biggest downsides for him are. It's his length, and I'm assuming you're probably going to talk about his Ohio State game, which I will admit is not great. My biggest thing for the Ohio State game that he had this season, he kind of got cut up a little bit by Jeremiah Smith. But the previous season, he played really damn well against Jeremiah Smith. And he kind of had his number a little bit. So kind of what I would say for that game is Jeremiah Smith had his number and he didn't have a great game, and I'll admit that. But overall, from what that happens. But overall, from what I've seen from D'Angelo Pons, this dude, he completely forgets about his height in the game. He is elite in coverage, elite in run defense. He's a really good tackler. It's like he's not even 5'9" and only has 29.5-inch arms. He completely negates that with his athleticism, his speed, his playmaking ability. Yeah, I mean, I know that this dude is tiny, but like I couldn't find a reason other than him being small to not like him. Yeah, he really showed out on tape. And he played in a really good conference as well. The Big Ten has won the national championship 2 or 3 years in a row now, and he showed out in the Big Ten. And this is at a 5'9" corner. He's playing against NFL talent. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to translate that to the NFL. And in this class where I was really disappointed with a lot of these guys, he moved up my corner board a lot. And I will preface, I still don't think he's first round. I think he's an early second rounder. My only first round corner is Monsieur Delane, and we'll get to him later. But from what I saw from Pons, I think he's a dog, and he's going to do well in the NFL. I don't maybe think he's a number one corner. He maybe could be, but yeah, that's kind of my thing on Pons. I know you're going to have a little bit more negative outlook on him, but I'm excited to hear it. So
yeah, so Pons, like, I'll give him credit where it's due. Like, he plays his ass off. He has a very productive, experienced career. Shutdown games come often for Pons, like, for real. He's super young, 21.2 years old, elite speed, great athlete, reads routes, great zone mover. Contributes on special teams a lot, multiple blocked field goals and like punts, I believe. Super feisty, makes them viable against the run, and he's a pretty damn good tackler. Like he, like you said, like people are like, oh, he's gonna struggle against bigger receivers. Man, he had a really good game against Denzel Boston in 2024.
Yes, yep.
And like really good 2 interception game. And yeah, Jeremiah Smith did cook his ass this year. I'm gonna be honest.
Yep. Definitely.
He did
I will
pretty
admit that.
good against him last year. And, like, man, I will never dog a corner for one bad game. D'Angelo Pons has way more good games than bad games. So that's not something I'm low on him for. My thing with him is it honestly feels like his big game variance is kind of a problem. Like, he's so shut down in, like, against like UCLA, Northwestern, Washington. But then like when he played, like his entire college football run was way worse in terms of like yards allowed. Like, I mean, he went from allowing like 19 yards, 9 yards, 18 yards against like all these like lower tier teams to like Ohio State put up 116 on him. Bama put up 63 on him. Oregon put up 57 on him. Like, I get in the Bama game, he had a forced fumble, and against Oregon, he had an interception, but it did seem like when the stage was bigger, he did play worse. He's also just a gambler at heart. I don't love that at corner, especially when you kind of lack a lot of the intangibles to then get away with it, Like, a lot of these plays that he's doing, like, super acrobatic stuff on, it kind of feels like a well-educated guess, and that's just harder to do at the NFL level, and
definitely,
it's just never something I like. It's not like a big knock on him. The penalty thing, I mean, he didn't get penalized this year, but he had 7 in 2024, and with how small he is, it's just, you were right when you said with his length. The weird thing to me is he doesn't play in the slot, like, at all.
No, I know he plays almost completely outside.
To me, it's like, and straight up, and I know this is just me, I am never playing this guy outside. I don't care how good he is. He is too small. He is 5'9". He has almost sub 29-inch arms. That is horrible. Like, if my corners are 6 foot with 31-inch arms, I'm like, I like him a little bigger. This guy is inches below that. I mean, like, dude, I am way bigger than Denzel Boston. I'm not a big dude. Or Denzel Boston, D'Angelo Pons. Like, yes, he's feisty against the run in college, but I'm sorry he's not tackling Derrick Henry, or he's not tackling your bigger powerhouse backs at 182. He's just not. And honestly, I think when he did weigh in for, what was this, his pro day, correct? These are a lot of his measurements are from?
Yes.
I believe he was listed at 175 for a majority of this season. I definitely think he bulked up. So, like, 182 is probably being generous. I don't think that will be his season, like, play weight. And that's already super small. And then, man, like, I wouldn't mind him to stick him in the slot, but he has no experience playing in the slot. So it really just boiled down to, I will never play this guy. There's just certain measurables that if you get so bad, I will not play you at, especially at corner. Corner's probably the biggest position for that, man. That it's just like, I would never play this guy outside. I would never draft him to play outside, and I would want to play him in the slot. But the fact that he has zero slot experience is just a really big killer for me. Like, he's 11 for me. And honestly, like, if I was a GM, I would be like, he is so good that I'm like, despite the little slot experience, I would probably draft him in like the 5th and stick him in the slot just to still see what he can do, even though he has no experience playing it. But like, man, he's just like, he's just an outlier that like no one wins against. Sorry, but I don't know. And then it's not like he like blew my mind either, to be honest. Like, if he had like elite tape, then I would maybe be a little bit like, all right. But he's so small. He is so small. Like, he would be one of the smallest players in the NFL day one. And I don't know. I just wasn't like amazed with his tape either to be like, yeah, I just don't feel confident about sticking him outside. So, I see why you like him. I really do. But I mean, would you play him outside, or are you just confident he can play the slot? What's your view on that?
I would play him outside.
You would?
Like, yeah, I would play him outside. Like, I understand, and I think the same way as you for the most part. Like, if you're that small, you can't play outside. You're not going to be able to hang with big wide receivers. But, like, I just couldn't, before I did the deep dive into him, I saw him getting mocked to the Packers, and I was like, I don't know if I'd want a 5'9" corner. That doesn't seem smart. We need an outside corner. I just watched him, and I would take him as the Packers, and I would play him at outside. I would love it, actually. I'm that much of a...
Me too, because that's free eats for Justin Jefferson all day, baby.
Yeah, bro. Totally. Yeah, bro.
But yeah, I just think when, playing corner in the NFL is already ridiculously hard. Like, there's a good chance that, like, Mansour Delang busts, just because even when you're the top corner, it doesn't mean shit. The NFL is just a different game, man.
Right.
And when you consistently go up against your Drake Londons, Jamar Chases, Justin Jeffersons, A.J. Browns, Tedero McMillans, like, NFL wide receivers are huge. They're big. They're really big. They're usually 6'2", 6'3". That's just how they're built now. Freak athletes with elite verticals. Like, he's just never matching their catch points ever for me. Like, I don't care that his vertical's that good. A lot of these guys who have 4, almost 5 inches, sometimes even 6 inches on this guy, have almost just as good of a vertical. Like, I don't ever see this guy winning against, like, the Drake Londons, the Tedero McMillans, Chris Olave's even, Malik Neighbors. Like, yeah, he'll stick on him because he's quick, but, like, I can't have my corners be this small. And I get that that's just a fundamental difference that we see with this player, but that's why he's my 11. That's why he's your 2. It really just boils down to that, So this is a good conversation, though, and I'll be interested to see where he goes, because he's someone where I think, based off his size, I could see him falling a ton, but all it takes is one person to love him, and he definitely has very lovable tape. Obviously, you like him. I can see it, why people would. So if he goes, second round, I think it'd be a bad pick, but would it floor me? No. So, he's someone to watch on draft night, honestly. It'll be fun. But I will say, like, he is an excellent college player. Like, and I just think some dudes are college guys, some guys aren't NFL guys, and they're just college guys, but yeah, all the credit. Like, this was not a bad player by any means. He was just born with something he cannot control. That it's really too bad. But
no, definitely. Like, I feel bad for the dude. Like, imagine if he was 6'1", bro.
I mean, honestly, if he was 6'1", he'd be probably a top 3 corner for me.
Yeah,
just straight up. But yeah, he was a crucial part in Indiana's natty. I mean, honestly. You think, for me, Mendoza was more important, Omar Cooper was more important, and I would say for how clutch Surratt was more important. But then he was probably their best guy on defense. Like, maybe Mario Landino, you could argue, but I mean, he's probably like the 4th best player on this natty team. So that's a damn good player, Pat Coogan was pretty damn good for them too. But yeah, just a fundamental difference. So who do we want to talk about now? We have Abney. Should I talk about Abney?
I'm interested in what you have to say about Abney, because I like what you felt about Pons. I kind of feel about Abney in a way.
Okay.
So we can talk about Abney.
Oh, Abney for me was funny because he kind of does go against like what I usually like in corners. 5'10", 187. Like, PFF has him at 6 foot, and when I watched his tape, I was like, he's 6 foot, awesome. But then, like, he measured in at like 5'9" and 8'9". He's not even 5'10", I don't think. But obviously, I'm just rounding up like fucking an eighth of an inch to say he's 5'10".
Well, no, I wrote he's 5'10" too.
Yeah, I mean, 5'10", 187, 30-inch arms, not great, 9 3/4 hands, and a 4.45 40. To me, the thing I loved about him, I think he's the most fluid, smooth mover in this entire draft. Like, I did not see somebody that moved as well as this guy, like, out of wide receivers, out of corners, out of safeties. Like, this guy is like, I know it's funny because he used to be like a national roller skating champion or like used to play professional like, so that shows, but like it shows, like it is literally looks like he is on skates. He was so smooth, man, in zone, like great zone processor and attacker. It's like he's gliding to get the where he needs to be. He's super young, barely 21. I thought he was a really solid tackler too. 0.6 tackling grade, almost 40 tackles, and he only missed 2 of them. 2 forced fumbles this season. I mean, he had 17 PBUs and 5 interceptions in the last 2 seasons. Like, that's elite, man. That's really, really good. And they play some good games. The competition he shut down in 2025 too was legit. I don't know if you noticed that, but like,
no, I did.
Because he'll play like average games against like average teams. Texas, 1 for 5, 5 yards. He allowed 2 PBUs. Utah, 1 for 5, 9 yards. Tech, 4 for 8, 24 yards. Plus State, 2 for 6, 9 yards, 2 PBUs. And then I know Colorado isn't like an elite team, but he just had a really good game. 3 for 10, 19 yards, 1 PBU. Like Texas Tech, Texas, Utah, and Iowa State are all like top 25 to top 30 teams. And like he shut down, like locked down against these guys. And to me, that just projects as like, okay, you can hang with the big dogs. Like you can. And you know what's funny? I'm sure that going up against Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson every day, probably some iron on iron, made him fear any of these matchups. But yeah, he is. I just think like he's fine on the big stage. He also, that game against Texas, like that was their college football playoff game, man. 1 for 5, 5 yards, 2 PBUs. Like that's against a legit offense. So, and that was his worst season too. I was just very impressed with that. Like, I love that from him. And then it's the fact that, man, he was like so smooth. But I will say, like, the lax length and his undersized, it's not great. It's not great. It's why he's not any higher for me. Penalties in the last 2 years, also not great. 6 penalties this year, 7 penalties last year. And then I did think he struggled against like the bigger receivers and blockers at times. Like his size did kind of show us as like a liability or weakness in that sense. But overall, I just think he's way too productive on ball. He is way too smooth of a mover. And then like he consistently showed he did not get burnt in a big game once in his career. And in fact, not only did he not get burnt, but he came to play in all these games. Like I value that a ton, man. And I think honestly, like he held up this Arizona State defense way more than it probably should have. So I really, really value that in a player. And he's really, really young, like really young, 21.2 years old. So I think he can be once again, an elite corner too. I don't know if he'd ever be able to be a corner 1. That's kind of my consensus with like all these guys. I mean, like Devin Moore is the guy right in front of him, and he's kind of like, I still think he should probably be a corner 2. That's what this draft is just full of. I know I said that at the start, but yeah, I really, really like Abney, but I'm interested to see what you have to say about why you did not like him.
So, as a Packers fan, again, Abney is consistently mocked in the area of our second open round picks, so I really did want to like him, actually, because I've seen him mocked to us. And to keep it simple, I kind of just thought he was D'Angelo Pons minus. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I just think he's about the same size. He lacks athleticism. He's pretty average athletically. I mean, he lacks length. He lacks size. So he kind of like is almost built. He's 5 pounds heavier than Pons, maybe an inch taller. He's very maybe a little bit bigger than Pons, but he just wasn't like he didn't show me that like elite playmaking ability. He's the same age. Yeah, he had good games against Arizona, Iowa State, Texas, Mississippi State, Texas Tech. Like he played well against good competition. And I do think he would be a solid corner 2, corner 3 type of guy. But like honestly, he just was a worse graded Pons for me. And like I think he could maybe sneak into my top 10 potentially. It's kind of a toss-up between those 10, 11, 12. But, like, he just had a slightly worse missed tackle rate. He was less athletic. He had slightly worse grades. He played in a slightly worse conference. Like for me, it's just like he's just what he does, Pons just does better at just about the same size. And that's kind of what that's kind of where I come down to. He allowed about the same amount of yards. Nope, they both didn't allow any touchdowns. About the same passer rating allowed, but Pons just did it at a little bit smaller size and in a harder conference. And I don't know, and he does the same thing. He plays outside at a smaller size. He doesn't really have any slot experience. His zone grade was worse. His man grade was worse. His total coverage grade was worse. His tackle grade was worse. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, that's just kind of what it boiled down to, and that's kind of where I fell on it. And he kind of slipped a little bit for me. Now, does that mean I don't think he has high upside? I think he could have high upside. He obviously, like you said, he's very smooth. He's very sticky. Had good games against good teams. He did not allow any touchdowns. Like, he's a good player. He's still relatively young, can be developed. It's just, for me, like, if like Pons and him are in the same area on PFF's big board, and if I were to take one, I would take Pons, just because he was more productive. He was in a harder conference. He's basically like almost the same player, but just better, like physically. He's more athletic. He's faster. He's the same age. Like, I don't know. That's kind of just where I fell on it. So
yeah. So I mean, for me, like I said, I think Pons is probably playing at like 175, 177. So just Abney has an inch on him in height, 10 pounds on him in weight, bigger hands, and then an inch on him on arms. I thought he was a way smoother mover. I think he actually has a place in the NFL. The fact that he didn't allow 0 touchdowns, he only allowed like 40% of his receptions too. That's very fucking good. Like, if it's around 50 to 55 allowed, that's really, really good. But he only allowed 32 out of 72. So, I mean, that's actually not 40. That's like, no, it is like 40. Yeah.
It's like 40.
Yeah, it's like 40. So that is like very, very good. His on ball, like, I mean, I think he is so sticky. He is always on guys. And I think he just has a little bit more of the size. I think he's so much smoother. It's like, yes, he is 40 as in show, but I think it's like on-field athleticism. Like, some guys just are good in like that straight line speed. But like, man, I never saw him getting burnt or lost from like being slower than a guy. Like, and maybe that's just because he's like so much, he's such a good processor and just so smooth that, he's never faltering in any movements, like with any hip turns or any backpedaling or anything. But I just thought, like, I saw a lot more NFL translatable skill from him. And then it's just the fact that, yes, he wasn't like that much bigger, but he was like slightly bigger. That I just value that a lot more. I also love the fact that, like, he didn't even get burnt once. On that big stage, he never faltered once. Like, yeah, I know that he didn't play any Jeremiah Smiths or anything, but, like, Texas has some guys, man. Texas Tech has some guys. Iowa State has some guys. Like, they always have, like, solid receiving cores. And it's just like Jeremiah Smith did cook Pons. Pons did have bad games at times, and this guy was just, like, in his 2025 season, locked down, like, really all year. No one really got his number, so I did value that. There was really no variance with his play. It was just pretty consistently elite all year. But, yeah, I can see why you think that with Pons. I just think that Abney is, the cutoff, funnily enough, is, like, his size, and obviously if he's just a little bit bigger than Pons, then Pons doesn't meet that cutoff for me. And then, I also just thought his tape was more impressive, so we just view these two guys differently. Obviously, they're almost swapped for us, but yeah, I mean, I like Abney a pretty decent amount. Like I said, I think he's probably the most smooth player in this draft. I did not see anybody move as, like, efficiently as this guy did. I'm trying to think, man. It's like Delane was close for sure. Tyson was close. Jordan Tyson, obviously, like, no wasted movements from him. That's like kind of it. Yeah, Skylar Bell maybe a little up there for me too, but yeah. Is there? Let's see who. Oh, we should probably talk about Colton Hood now because we kind of covered all the guys that we were like very, very.
I think we just have we have 4 left. We have Chris Johnson, Colton Hood, Avian Terrell, and Monster Delane.
Yes. So let's talk about Hood.
Okay, sounds good. Do you want me to talk about him because I'm higher on him?
Sure. Wait, where was he again for you?
4.
Okay, and he was what, 8 for me, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes. You can talk about him. I'm interested in what you like.
Colton Hood is the second Tennessee corner that I watched because I watched Jermod McCoy first because he was higher on PFF's big board. And he's definitely more of a developmental guy for me again, kind of like Cisse. He's a stickier man and zone coverage guy who doesn't really excel at either. He's kind of just good at both. He's also a fundamental tackler, rarely misses tackles. Bodes well for him for allowing him to further develop his coverage skills if he doesn't have to worry about developing his tackling at all.
For sure.
He's really solid size and length. In my opinion, he's 6 foot, 193. He has pretty average arm size, pretty average hand size. He's solidly athletic as well. 4'4", 440, 40.5-inch vertical, 10.5 broad. He had a 9.61 RAS score at the combine. So, I mean, he has the athletic ability. He can hold his own against bigger receivers, I noticed. He had a few plays where he gave up or made a mistake, which is fine. I mean, that's all corners do. But I kind of see him more as like a high ceiling developmental guy. That's why I kind of have him higher. He recorded one forced fumble, one interception, 5 PBUs. This last season, he also had an interception touchdown, 79.2 overall grade. Did he? He
touchdown. Maybe it wasn't a fumble. One was off a fumble, I think.
It might have been a fumble as well. He might have had a fumble recovery as well for a touchdown. But he had an 83.4 tackle grade, which was a huge improvement from 2024, where he had a 28.2 tackle grade. He went from a 36.7% missed rate to a 6.6% missed rate, which is excellent improvement. That just shows that he can develop. He allowed 318 yards and a touchdown this year. On 52 targets. He allowed a 70.8 passer rating, and he had a 63.8 run defense grade, which is not amazing. That's another thing that would need to be developed with him for sure. And he played almost entirely outside corner. But the thing for me that was kind of worrying more was that he just was inconsistent against good teams. He was good against Georgia and Oklahoma, but bad against Bama and Vandy. So that's just kind of where his inconsistency comes through. Again, to me, he just has really high ceiling, but he just needs to be developed, and he needs to take the time to be developed. He's young enough where he can take a year to develop, and I don't think plugging him and playing him right now is going to end well for any team. He might be solid, but my biggest thing is if you develop him for a year at least, I really think with his athleticism and his solid length and size, I think he could be a really solid, at least corner 2, if not move up to a high-end corner 2. But yeah, I would like to hear what you have.
He's your 4th?
He's my 4, yep.
Damn, so you really hate this corner class then. If you wouldn't even start him and he's your 4th corner?
Honestly, I mean,
that's fair. It's a pretty bad class.
Pretty much everyone below my 3rd corner are guys I would not really start right away. I think you either need to develop them, or they're just not high ceiling.
Where would you take Hood? What round?
Mid-second.
Damn. I guess. Yeah, it's funny. I like your analysis, good analysis, but I view him completely different, completely opposite of you. So you think he's a developmental guy? I think he's a low ceiling floor guy. Really? I think that he comes in and yes, he's young, so I think he can develop to get better. I think he has the skills to be a really solid corner 2. I didn't really like him because I don't really think he'll be better than that. Elite athlete, love the vert, love the broad, 40's fine. He has okay length. It's he lacks elite size and length, but it's fine. I thought he was pretty fluid, good movement abilities. I thought he had really good press man technique. I love that from him. I thought he was high IQ in almost all spots of the field, quick processor. I thought his burst and closing speed was legit. When he blows up screens, they're intermediate, kind of slants or anything like that. I was pretty good. But my biggest knocks on him were only 1 year of starting experience. Don't love that for my corners, and he was never really great outside of this year. I will say he did step up and fill the shoes of Jermod McCoy. That's pretty impressive. Those are big shoes to fill. My biggest thing with him though is when he starts bad, he ends terribly. When he gets burnt to start, he just is he's free eats all game. And he really struggled against outside of the Georgia game and the Kentucky game, I didn't really think any other games are super notable from him. He allows a ton of catches, or not a ton of catches, but a decent amount of yards. And these games where he is doing bad, he falls apart. And it's dude, you can't have that at the NFL because guys are going to pick on you. It happens with the best corners in the game. The best corners in the game even get toast. So that, and then I also didn't love, he had 5 PBUs before. He only had 1 interception. I think he needs to track the ball better. He's just never really, making the plays that you want in terms of finishing it. Yes, PBUs are nice, but you got to have some interceptions, man. You got to turn the ball over. And overall, I just thought he was you draft this guy probably late second and you plug him in at your corner position, your corner 2 position. And yeah, he probably gets a little better because of how young he is. He's super young, barely 21 years old. But I didn't really think he was an elite enough athlete or had good enough size to ever become anything beyond just an okay corner 2. And that's why he's my 8. I don't know. I guess you just think he's a way better athlete than I do. And you think he can develop into way more than I do. But I thought he was pretty solid player. I can see where you think he needs to develop because he only has the 1 year of experience. But he almost had 800 snaps this year. So it's Devin Moore level. And he was in college for a decent amount, at Colorado and everything. I don't know. It's just funny because we do view him very, very different.
No, I know.
But, funnily enough is I have him at 8 and you have him at 4, and we have him roughly being drafted in the same area. So it's just kind of funny. This corner class just is.
It's just weird, bro.
Yeah, it's just
I don't know. It's just hard to get a read on these corners.
It really
it's just
is.
like, especially like, I think part of the problem with why we view him so differently is because he only has that 1 year of starting experience.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really hard to like actually pin him down as like what kind of player he is, especially when you don't get those. And wasn't it his first year at Tennessee as well? So it's like. Yeah. So it's like you literally have 1 year of tape to go over, and that's it.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
But yeah,
and it was just a weird situation. Like Tennessee played in big games, but halfway through the season, there wasn't really anything they were like playing for in terms of stuff that mattered. So like maybe when he gets burned in these later games, like it doesn't really matter because like no one on Tennessee really cares. And then like the fact that he was probably didn't really expected to do much, and he literally had to fill in for Jamon McCoy. And like he did fine. So it's funny to me because if like in 5 years you're like, oh yeah, Colton Hood was the second best corner on this draft, I'd be like, yeah, makes sense. And then if you were also like in 5 years like, yeah, he was just fine, never really anything good, just fine, I'd be like, yeah, exactly what I expected. Yeah. And I mean that's just kind of more of a sentiment to this corner class and just how like kind of garbage it is. Not garbage, but variance. It's very
rated.
Yeah, but he was a fine player to me, I guess. Kind of all the guys from like 8 to 1 were just fine to me. I mean, obviously, like 1 and 2 were a lot better. They're all just like, okay. You want to talk about, with that being said, Chris Johnson, because he is my 9 and he's your 3, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll let you talk about Chris Johnson because you liked him way more than I did.
Chris Johnson, where do I even begin?
I hope he's a Packer because of how much you like him.
I really hope. All right, so Chris Johnson. In my opinion, he is the best zone corner prospect in this class. Johnson excels at making plays on the ball and has excellent closing speed. He rarely misses tackles and is also excellent in blitzing when necessary. Was also the most athletic corner at the combine, showcasing great speed and good jumping ability. He also has solid size, where a lot of top corners this year do not. I know he's only 93, but compared to the rest of his class, that's actually pretty average, if not a little above average.
Above, yeah, a little above.
The main concern about Johnson is his competition, which is not great. He is also pretty one-dimensional. He only plays outside. He's not very good in man coverage. Or on other spots of the field. His stats for this year, he had 4 interceptions, 5 PBUs, a sack, and a forced fumble. He ran a 4.440, a 38-inch vertical, 10.6 broad, and he benched 17 reps of bench press. He had a 9.67 RAS. For some of his grades, he had a 91.6 overall grade. He had a 92.4 coverage grade with a 91.9 zone coverage grade. He only allowed 18 completions for 185 yards, no touchdowns, and a 16.1 passer rating. He had an 80.3 tackle grade and only missed 5.5% of his tackles. His run defense was a little bit lackluster, 67.1 run defense grade. But like I said, when he was used in pass rushing and blitzing situations, he was good with an 86.6 grade. 2 of his 4 interceptions he returned for touchdowns, which was impressive on tape. And his lowest graded game was against Fresno State, but I watched that game, and honestly, he wasn't, like, bad. Like,
yeah,
he only allowed,
was kind of bugging with their grades sometimes.
Like, he allowed 3 catches for 26 yards, no touchdowns, and didn't miss any tackles. And he had a 54 grade. I don't understand how that works, but honestly, he didn't really have any bad games, in my opinion, this year. At like absolute worst, he had maybe a couple average games, but he's 21 and a half years old, excellent athlete, excellent in zone coverage. I think that he's young enough where you could maybe even develop his man coverage a bit more too, but he has great fundamentals, doesn't miss tackles. Like I said, he's excellent in zone, but I guess, the biggest concern for him is his competition. And I know we've had this conversation before with like Bryce Lance and Ted Hurst, even just like guys who don't play in great competition. And it's definitely something to be aware of. I just think this dude has the attributes to be a good zone corner in the NFL, and he kind of showcased it this year. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say as well, though.
Yeah, so I was going to say, can you guess why I don't like him?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so Interceptions and 9 PBUs show the ball hawking ability. It's obviously natural for him. Super young, good athlete. Thought he was a great route and play processor. I thought he was fluid, very smooth. I thought he was like obviously elite in zone. Very, very, very good tackler. I was very impressed with that. Great press technique. But yeah, my biggest thing with him, man, weak college comp. I mean, the fact that the best team that he's probably had to play is Cal. Yes, he played good against them, but that is by no means a good team. He lacks elite size and length. You know, it's fine. His hands are big. That's nice, but like 30.5-inch arms, 6 foot. It's whatever. You know, I like my corners a little bigger. We've already discussed this. And then, yeah, his man coverage is not good. It was not good in the season. His down the field work, I just think needs work in general. He got kind of cooked at the Senior Bowl too, trying to play man. Like nothing this dude has shown me it has made me confident in his ability to play man at all. And honestly, like Chris Johnson is not a bad player. To be honest, a lot of these corners are very, very similar. Like honestly, from like Abney at what is he, my 4th corner, to like Chris Johnson at my 9, all those guys are like maybe at most like they're within the same 20 to 30 pick range. So there's not that much
variance. No, I totally agree.
Here's the thing for me with Johnson, you know, because Johnson is right below Hood. Am I gonna draft the guy like what would Cal be in terms of Colton Hood's hardest games he's had to play? They even be top 10? Like, probably not.
No.
Right? So if Colton Hood, to me, looks pretty damn good, or like average or whatever, however I view him, and then Chris Johnson's kind of the same, and then Colton Hood is doing that against, you know, Georgia, Kentucky, Bama, consistently week to week to week, like teams that would all be easily Chris Johnson's best game and team played, I'm just going to put him over that guy. Like, it's just... I know that your skills are like I can put my faith into the fact that they will be more translatable at the next level because there is less of a step up. It's just quite simple. Like Chris Johnson's not a bad player. You know, he is not that far from being my corner 4 in terms of just positioning. But all these guys ahead of him just played way, way, way better comp. And I just like their tape, if anything, a little bit more. And that just puts him lower than all these guys, just honestly. You know, there is a definitive teardrop off like Chris Johnson. It's 9. And then Keontae Scott's 10 for me. I like him way more than Keontae Scott. It's just this is the weird range. Like Chris Johnson to me could be in a scheme that prioritizes zone, a solid corner 2. I think he would be solid to a low-end tier corner 2. But I just don't really think it'll be ever better than that. And I'm going to bet on him less because it's harder to predict if he will be able to be good at the next level due to his competition. We kind of think the same thing about him, honestly. I just obviously view that a lot more negatively than you do.
No, and you bring up a really good point with like how close these middle picks are because from my 2 to my 8, like, are all within 40 picks. Like,
yeah, there's not that big.
Like, that's kind of how it is. Like, for my, like, Monster Delane is kind of in a league of his own in the first round. He's the only first round corner. And then after that, it's like everyone else is kind of free for all in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. Like, that's kind of just how it fell. And, like, they're all, like, within 40 picks of each other. And it's just, yeah, like we've gone over this a few times, but, like, this class was just disappointing, and like a lot of these guys, like you thought they were going to be really good, and they were okay at best, and like so it's kind of been disappointing watching this corner class, especially as a Packers fan, because I just wanted good corners.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is it's kind of the opposite for me because I was like, damn, like Vikings, like we have like a ton of picks in the 3rd round. I'm like, I don't know if we'll be able to get a good corner, but I'm like, I guarantee you one of these guys is going to be there at like pick 70 or 80 for us.
Right.
Like, I feel like there's going to be a solid corner, and that's all we knew. We really just get corner 2. Like we have Byron Murphy starting, so I was like, damn, if we don't get Delane in the 1st, which obviously we don't project to, I'm like, we're just cooked. But no, a lot of these guys are thankfully kind of worse than I thought, and a lot of them are developmental, so hopefully if we get the right one, like if we got Devin Moore in the 3rd, I would probably be jumping for joy. So you know, that's probably realistic too.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it is funny because the Packers do need a difference maker at corner, and they're obviously not going to get Delane. So the guys that are left don't really instill a ton of confidence.
Well, and there's question marks if Delane can even be that guy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, honestly. But so now we have Delane and Terrell. You want to talk about Terrell? I can start with him because he is my 2nd.
Yeah, go for it.
Corner. Which is funny because you were like, before we watched them, I was like, I didn't think I'd like Terrell, and you thought you would like Terrell, and then we watched him, and now you don't like Terrell, dude, and I do like Terrell.
And again, like my 2 through 9 are all pretty close.
Yeah.
But like,
what is he for you? He was like 8, wasn't he?
7.
7. Okay.
This whole situation with these corners has just been weird, bro. Like it's just
like I'm not gonna lie. If I had if some bad Devin Moore news broke out and some good Keith Abney news broke out, like it would not be that hard to move Keith Abney above Devin Moore. For reference, Keith Abney is just a position below him. Or a spot below him. Yeah, Adrian Terrell. Once again, my God, very small player, 5'11", 186, 8 5/8 hands, 31-inch arms is actually like fine. I'll take it.
That's solid.
Absolutely small this class is. That's like not horrible. He's a fine athlete, 34-inch vert, 10-3 broad. His 40 thing is like a really big conversation around him. Like he ran like a 4.6 something 40.
Oh, geez.
I think anyone that watches his tape, it was apparently a hamstring injury. He's so much faster than a 4.6 40, like easily. I don't know
He
if
kind
you
of has
think
to
that, but I'm like, dude, you watch his routes and not his routes, but like covering his routes. And you watch some of his plays and you're like, dude, this is 4.4 speed minimum. Like, I don't think he's a blazer, but he's definitely not 4.6. But yeah, great 2-year starter at Clemson. Almost 20 plays on the ball in the past 2 years. He had this year 5 PBUs, and last year he had 10 PBUs and 2 interceptions. Kind of a victim of that Clemson fall-off year, but honestly, like, kind of the least victim. Like, I still felt like he had a pretty good year this year, honestly. 8 forced fumbles in the last 2 years. Like, this is why he gets comped to Peanut Tillman. I know that I see that a lot, and like that's a legitimate skill at that point. That is not a fluke, and that's like you love to see that at corner. Like if you get burnt, there's still hope that he can force that fumble out. Numerous shutdown games over the last 2 years. These are just some games that stuck out for me that I thought that he shut them down. We had in 2024, Appalachian State, Stanford, Wake Forest, Virginia, Louisville, South Carolina, and in the college football playoff, Texas. And then this year, I thought he shut down Syracuse and FSU. And he also had a really good game against Alec Iomanner, a wide receiver I was not high on at all, but obviously still an NFL receiver. I thought he was a great zone processor and player, super, super young player, barely 21. You see that. Great ball tracking ability. Obviously, you see that with like the 20-plus ball plays. I thought, like, honestly, he has the best footwork, the best backpedal in this class. Like his technique in terms of all of that stuff with like footwork, backpedal, hip turn is as top tier as it gets. Like it is beautiful. And I know that I kind of made fun of that to you. I sent that clip of that, oh, he's going to get drafted off that practice clip alone. But no, like that shit happens all the time on his tape. He has elite footwork, like for real. And he played all over the field, man, like super versatile. He played a little in the box. He played a little in the slot. He played outside at corner. Like, I like to see that, man. You can kind of stick him anywhere. Very versatile. A lot of these guys aren't. A lot of these guys, like, don't have any snaps at slot or any snaps in the box, and you just play them outside. Like, I want to see Pons play in the slot more. Like, I would have liked him way more. That was a big problem that I had with him. And then also Terrell is, like, a really good run defender. Really weirdly, because he's not that big of a guy. Most likely, I said it stems from his super feisty and competitive attitude. But yeah, like 90.7 run defense grade in 2024 and 85.2 run defense grade in 2025. That's elite, man. And then you see him force these fumbles. Like he's going to actually be a problem tackling some of these running backs, considering that. I also thought that he was a pretty solid tackler, too. Like he only had in 2024, 50 tackles for 9 missed. That's not like great or anything, but it's fine. And then this year he had 32 tackles for 5 missed. Like that's not bad or anything. Obviously, some of the thing you don't like about him, smaller frame, lacks the length. Big time is a big question. Like, is he, like a 4.5 guy? I could see that being the thing. Is he fine? Is he actually a 4.6 guy? I don't think he's a 4.6 guy, but it's still a question that needs to be answered, in my opinion. He does have a ton of penalties. This year, not really that many, only 2, but last year he had 7, and that was his better year, so that's something to watch out for. And then I honestly just thought he was kind of hot and cold at times. Like, some of these games he's on. When he's on and he's in his groove and his technique and his footwork looks crisp, like, man, he's shutting these guys down, but some of these games, it's kind of like, who was it that Colton Hood, like kind of like Colton Hood, man, when he's, when he starts bad, he kind of ends horribly. I just thought that Terrell's technique and all this stuff was so pro ready that he's so young too. And he's like, he does a lot of these things that a lot of these guys don't do. He's plays all over the field. Love that. Super versatile. A lot of these guys aren't. Really, really good run defender. A lot of these guys aren't really, really good run defenders. The forced fumble, I love that. Not a lot of corners in this class are forcing fumbles, man. So he kind of has, once again, close, similar to all these guys, but then he just has this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and that's why he's my 2. It's not like he is leagues better than, Devin Moore, Keith Abney, Brandon Cisse, but he just does a lot of the stuff they do pretty damn good, and then a lot of the stuff a little better. So that's why he's 2 for me. I was just super impressed with his technique. Man. His footwork is like work of art, man, like for real. Like I said, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I played corner. Even the best corners on our teams, like that's just something you notice. It's like this dude's footwork is elite. So I love that about him. What do you think about him, though? Because obviously you're a little lower on him. I'd love to hear your opinion on this.
So yeah, I mean overall I did like him. I still think he's probably an early third rounder is what I'd place him at. I just think he has good footwork. At forcing fumbles, he had 5 forced fumbles, 3 sacks. Like he was really good in pass rush and blitzing. He was just a really interesting player for me because he almost impressed me more when he wasn't doing corner stuff. Like when he was like when he's playing run defense or when he's pass rushing. He had a 94.1 pass grade. He had 6 pressures, 3 sacks. That's kind of crazy. And then he had an 85.2 run defense grade, 90.7 run defense grade in 2024. Overall, his coverage was not exactly what I wanted. He has good footwork and he has good fundamentals, but it didn't seem to translate as much. He allowed 340 yards and 3 touchdowns and a 96.9 passer rating. Hopefully that can be developed. If that can be developed, then he has a very high ceiling. And I think it probably can, especially showcasing that footwork. And that's how smooth he is. And then, he just below average athlete, in my opinion. He just 34-inch vertical, 10-3 broad. And if the 40 thing is true, that's another knock on that. He did bench 17 reps of bench, so that's good. That's definitely solid. But and then he's a little undersized, 5'11", 186. That's not bad. I can't really dog on him for that because I didn't dog on Pons for that, but it's still not great. And then he just kind of lacks length, and his coverage just didn't impress me that much. Now I did like his versatility. I think that's a really good thing about him, able to play wide and slot, so he has some options there. I just kind of think he's kind of in that mix with all the other guys, and I kind of had a hard time ranking them just because they're so close in proximity. I think he has a higher ceiling than a lot of the guys in that area.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But I also think his floor is kind of low with how his coverage was this last season. I don't know. I wasn't that I thought I was gonna be really impressed by his coverage, and I just wasn't. Especially with that practice clip. I was like, bro, this dude has to be amazing in coverage. And I don't know, I wasn't that impressed. He allowed over 50% of his targets to be complete, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns. I don't know. Just for me, I wasn't as impressed as I wanted to be, and that's kind of where he dropped him a little bit. But I don't know. I definitely think he obviously is in the same bloodline as AJ Terrell, so he has the skills. He has the DNA. It's just whether or not he'll translate that to the NFL. Yeah, I'm excited. What did you say?
Keep going.
I was just gonna say I'm excited to watch him play because he's like a little spark plug. 5 forced fumbles. He forces turnovers. He's a big play kind of guy.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I also think watching his tape, something I realized was Clemson really doesn't do this guy any favors, and they put so much on his plate. He
that is also true.
One-on-one in the end zone a ton. No safety shadowing over him. They don't have a linebacker on his side of the field. They trust in him a ton. So a lot of these guys, they usually have a ton of help, but they're not put in these situations a ton. And you can tell that Clemson really put a lot of faith in him to do a lot of his dirty work. So, these 3 touchdowns and some of his higher yards, yes, it's not great. I 100% agree with you, man. I wish he didn't get a touchdown score on him, but it's just going to happen. You're going to lose.
For sure.
It's just, so I look at when he has shutdown games, he has insane shutdown games. And then, this footwork, this technique, yes, the athleticism isn't amazing, but I would love if the Vikings drafted him in the second or the Packers. I mean, if obviously you probably don't want him, but I think he'd be a very solid player for both of our teams.
Again, I think he's probably an early third was where I'd have him. So if we took him at the back end of the second, it wouldn't be that bad, especially when we're corner need. It would be fine. I wouldn't mind it.
Honestly, for me, just sign me up with all these Clemson guys, man. I like TJ Parker. I like Peter Woods. I like this guy. I know a lot of people are really low on him, but man, I wasn't a fan of what they did this year, and I see the talent's undeniable with all 3 of those guys. Sign me up, man. I'll take Peter Woods in the first, and I'll take Avion Terrell in the second. I'd be a very, very happy fan that day if that's what we did. And I mean, I didn't even bring up the fact that I think he's like in Flores' scheme, he'd be a beast because he's surprisingly good at like blitzing and pressuring the quarterback. I mean,
Yeah,
3
no,
sacks
he
this
is.
year is that's pretty damn good. And like you said, he's a spark plug, and that's exactly what every guy in Flores' scheme is a spark plug. I would absolutely love for this guy to be a Viking. Is it time for Monster?
Might as well get it out of the way here.
So Delane is interesting to me. I mean, you can talk about him. Do you want me to talk about him first? Do you want to talk about him?
You talked about
Where is he on your big board?
He was at 4, but after I watched him, I moved him down a lot.
Like, is he top 10?
No, I don't think so. I think because I graded him as a mid first rounder.
Okay.
So I think he'd probably fall around the 14, 15 mark for me, maybe 13.
He's 8 for me, so I am higher on him if that matters. But I'm going to be honest, like, yeah, in terms of talent, he is like a mid first round talent. This class is just not good.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thing. Like, purely based off talent and his size and everything, like, he's a mid first rounder. Like,
yeah. So I guess I will talk about him because I'm a little higher on him.
Sure.
Delane is kind of the best corner in this draft because no one's really challenging him for the throne. He does a lot of things better than these guys that we all just talked about, like a lot of things. And he's a good player, man. He really is. But there's just some stuff that he lacks that you don't really see the top corners in the NFL lacking, and it really just makes me question, like, obviously his ceiling is not that high, and I kind of wonder how high he will be drafted. I mean, obviously it's a weak draft, and corner's always a big need, but, like, I see him go to the Giants at 5. I'm like, I don't know. Like, honestly, if he went to the Cowboys at 12, that makes so much sense to me, like, because I think he is a very high floor player. I mean, he's 6 foot, around 190 pounds, 9-inch hands, 30-inch arms, 4.38 40. He's 22 years old. He has lots of starting experience, 7 interceptions, 12 PBUs in his career. It's not a ton. Like, some of these guys do that in 2 years and against better teams. But, like, man, he has around 2,000 career snaps. So he's super experienced. Like, a lot of guys in this, he's one of the only corners in this draft that has 2,000 career snaps. So I do like that. Multiple shutdown games where he erases his side of the field. I mean, like erases who he's covering.
For sure.
His side of the field. 2023, he had a great game against Rutgers. Lane, 2024, shut down Rutgers again. Shut down Marshall. Shut down Clemson. Remember, Clemson was a college football playoff team in 2024. This year, shut down Clemson. Shut down Arkansas. And he had good games, against, like, shutdown games against Alec Eilmanor, Antonio Williams, and Latier Brooks. So, like, I thought that this guy was legit and the competition he played was legit. I think he reads routes like a fortune teller, man. Like, he is all over. That's how sticky he is. He plays in these guys' back pockets. Super fluid back pedal turn and footwork, like only slightly worse than Terrell's. 0 penalties in latest season. No touchdowns allowed in his latest season. Those are 2 things you love. For how sticky this guy is, the fact that he has 0 penalties is amazing. It just shows you how perfect his technique is. And for no touchdowns allowed either, like, man, LSU also put a lot on this guy's plate, and that's what separates him from a guy like Terrell. He is just more elite in that sense. He plays hard, physical run defense. 4.4 run defense grade is honestly not doing justice. I thought he was way, way better than that. 40 shows what we already knew. He has elite speed, man. He sticks on these guys like a sticky note all the way down the field, on in-breaking, on out-breaking, and slants. I thought his press man ability was top tier, like, for real. That's how he shuts these guys down. He usually bullies them right off the start and then stays on them for, the rest of the route they're trying to recover. But the thing with Delane as to why I don't think he will ever be like an elite NFL corner and will probably just be like a decent corner 1. He is the one guy, I will say, he is the one guy in this draft that I definitively think is a cornerback 1. I think even at his worst, he is a low-end corner 1. I don't think he is a corner 2 talent-wise. Because of that floor. Like, Terrell's my 2nd, and I'm like, at best, he's like a low-end corner 1. But, like, this guy's definitively that. I just think he lacks a prototypical build. Not super big. I would like to see him put 5 to 10 more pounds on. Only 6 foot with 30-inch arms. Like, man, if he had, like, 32-inch arms and he was, like, 6'2", this guy would be so much better. Funnily enough, everyone rips on Ruben Bain for how small his arms are. And, because of it's like a outlier, no edge has ever been drafted that high. But the last time that a corner with this small of arms have been drafted, it's like the early 2000s. It's been over 20 years since a corner with this small arms has been drafted in the top 10. So it's like I said, man, that matters a ton. And some of these corners have like 33, 34-inch arms. So every half inch, even quarter inch counts. And when you have 30-inch arms, it's just not great. You know, he's also not that tall. So I also just thought, like I said, with that smaller frame, I thought he could add more strength to his profile. I think his could be devastating if he was stronger. It's good, it's great, but it could be elite if he was stronger. And I think his run defense, the only reason it faltered was because he's just not that strong. Like if he was stronger and bigger, which that's the thing. I will say he is a floor player, but if he can get just bigger overall, like add some more weight to his frame, I think he becomes so much better of a player. I just don't want him to lose his speed at all, and that ability to maintain his stickiness. But yeah, I mean, he's the 8th player in my big board. He's right below Arvel Reese, and he's just above Jeremiah Love. He is 2 spots above Casey Concepcion, my wide receiver 2. But like, yeah, this draft isn't amazing. So in most drafts, he would probably be like 15 to 20. I think his range is probably like, I don't think he goes to the Giants, but I could see him going like to the Saints and to the Cowboys. I don't think he passes the Cowboys. He does have a small range. And if he does, then the Vikings should trade up for him at that point. You know, what do you think about him? Because I just think that he's pretty solid, like not a crazy diverse player, pretty basic player, you know.
Yeah, I think pretty similar to you. I mean, he kind of moved down for me just because I didn't realize like how small he actually was.
Yeah, he's not that big.
He's only 6'1", 182 pounds, 30.5-inch arms, 9-inch hands. Like nothing good, nothing like really freaky that you'd want to see from like a top tier first round corner. He was really good in coverage, 90.7 coverage grade, only allowed 14 receptions for 165 yards, no touchdowns, 31.3 rating. I mean, that's really, really good. He ran a 4.35 40 at his pro day, which is also really, really good.
Oh, he did. Damn, that's even faster.
That's really good. And then 22.3 years old, so good age. He posted 8 of his 11 games was 70+ grade, including Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Clemson, Oklahoma, so good competition. 89.1 man coverage grade, 76.7 zone coverage grade, so he can play both. I just think overall, like, he's just the best corner in the class, and he's the only one worthy of being a first rounder, but I just don't think he's like one of those freaky, like really good top 10 overall corners where it's like,
he's not like a
this guy
or anything.
Like this guy's going to be a top 5 corner in the league type of guy. I think he could be a corner 1 on specific teams, but it's just like, I don't know if he is like that. He's good enough to like be a corner 1 on like any team. Like he's just not he's just not at that level, and like he just is a great way to cap off this very underwhelming corner class, because I was very underwhelmed like in the fact that like I just don't think he's going to be as dominant as I initially thought. But definitely a great player, no doubt about it. He's definitely a first round talent. He's showcases like excellent coverage skills, tackling skills. Like, don't get it twisted. He's awesome.
He is good. But I expected a lot more from this class, to be honest.
Right. And when I was looking at this class before, and I was like, wow, this is a really good class, the first corner must be really, really good. It's like, the first corner is maybe a middle of the first. He's fine. Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely like Monsordo, and it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Because yeah, like you said, he'll have a really small range. I'm sure Saints to the Cowboys. If he falls past the Cowboys, I'd be surprised, like you said. At some point, some team, and that's the other thing. He might be one of the most like, he might be a player where someone trades up for him. Just because his range is so small.
Yeah, the way I see it for him is he's such a perfect fit for the, in this order, Saints, Bengals, Dolphins, and Cowboys. In the sense that he just raises the floor of your corner room by so much. He's not going to be this elite player, but all those teams have horrible cornerback rooms. Like, the Saints are probably the best, and their best corner is Kool-Aid McKinstry. Like, he's fine, but, man, they need just, like, the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Cowboys especially just need, like, a guy. They don't need like, super, super elite, or, like, they just need someone to be able to guard other teams' wide receivers, and so they'll figure the rest out. And this guy can do it. Like, honestly, he can. He is good enough to shut down the better wide receivers occasionally in this league. So I would put my faith in Delane, but I see him going like top 5 for the Giants sometimes. I just personally don't see that. But yeah, do you have anything else to say in general on this class?
No, I mean, I think we've said it multiple times. Coming class in general.
A lot of corner 2s. I could see so many guys
corner 2s
being in the league in like 5 years, just because a lot of these guys are really just solid, you know.
Definitely agree.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say in regards to any of these guys. A lot of them, like I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it during our mock draft episode or something that we're gonna try and do before the draft. But I'm really want to watch like Igbinosin. I really want to watch Devin Marshall. There's a lot of corners like
Yes.
Dalen Everett. I know neither of us. I don't think either of us watched Dalen Everett. That's a guy I want to watch. So there are still a lot of good corners. There's just so many of them. Honestly, I mean, I did like 14, and I was only into like the 70s on PFF's consensus boards.
No, I know. Yeah.
We just don't have that much time for it. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. I don't have anything else to say. This is the Neutral Zone. Thank you guys for tuning in for a corner episode. See ya.